Hello everyone, my name is Jen, and welcome to the Book Refuge, and welcome to my reading and reaction vlog for Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone by Gabaldon. So, where's the book? Well, I don't have it yet. It's Sunday, but I wanted to get this video started with a clip, just kind of with like my expectations and what I plan to do through this video. If you are on some of my other social medias, I've said this, I've also said it in previous videos talking about Outlander. My plans for this week are, I'm actually going to be on vacation for Thanksgiving week. I'm picking up the book on my way to my sister's. I am actually going to get the Kindle book as well. I pre-ordered the Kindle book so that I get it tomorrow night at 11. But I will pick up a physical book when I leave as well. I did pre-order a signed copy from The Poisoned Pen, which, if you don't know, if you're not like up on the shindig or up on the if you're not in the know, jeez, I can't talk. The Poisoned Pen is Diana's local bookstore in Arizona where she lives, and that is the book that she signed. Like, that is the bookstore that she signs copies at. So there are people who pre-ordered the book many, many months before us. Like, as soon as it was announced, people did that. As early as like in 2020, people were pre-ordering this book before it even had a release date. If you look at the Poison Pen's store, like, they have thousands of books that need to be signed. She's been working pretty much nonstop on that for a couple of days. But because of shipping and things, they think that the people, like, it could be like January 2022 by the time everyone's books get to them who pre-ordered. Because again, some people pre-ordered a year ago and they're going to be the people who get their books first. So the first orders that ship out like on release day, they're going to get their books first. That's just how it is. I was late to the party. I didn't plan to order a signed copy, but this is the first book release that's happening when I'm a fan. Like, just remember that. I've been a fan for 6 years, and this is the first book that I've been a fan when that it's coming out. So I decided I was going to buy it. But obviously I'm not going to wait till January to read this. So I had to come up with some other plans. Yeah. So my plan is to have the Kindle book because, again, I'm going to be home for Thanksgiving. We're going to be hanging out with my nieces. I don't want to have this physical book, which I believe is I think it's like 800-ish pages for the hardcover of it. I don't want to have to be like carrying it around all the time, but I also want to be like taking notes and stuff like that. So the copy that I get from Barnes & Noble that I go to pick up on Tuesday will probably be the one that I take notes in. And then the copy, when I get it from the Poison Pen that has been signed, can just be like, will just be my signed copy that I didn't mess with it or anything, right? So, lots of strategic plans. I will end up having 3 copies of this book, 1 digital and 2 regular. So, we'll see. So, yeah, so that's the plan. And so, yeah, I wanted to film this starting clip so that I was ready to go when I go pick it up and we can have some of that. And then my plan is that this won't necessarily be like spoiler free, but also it will be more of just like reactions to stuff and my thoughts like in the moment when I'm going through it. And then I will do a book review that is in the same form as the other 8 book reviews I've done for the series, which will be me sitting down, breaking down the sections of the book, breaking it down by character, stuff like that. That's what I've done for the other 8 books, which there's a playlist for that. If you didn't know, you can check that out when I did my reread in 2019 and the beginning of 2020. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. Some of my thoughts going into it, I have no idea what to expect. I'm very excited for all of our family members to be back together again. I don't know what the next phase of like what the war is right now. You know, I'm not sure with all of that stuff. I'm not a huge history buff outside of like the historical romance realm and the historical fiction realm. I'm always more excited about what events Diana chooses to spotlight because as well as spotlighting big events, she will also spotlight smaller things and like the individuals in history that Jamie and Claire come across. And I really love that. I want to see what's happening with like Fergus and Marcelly and the young ones. And I really, really am looking forward to Ian and his wife, and they have a son, I believe, right? I want them to like get a new pet, like to have a new dog or something. Yeah, I don't know. Those are really weak predictions. But the thing with the Outlander like saga series is it's not really a series where you can like predict big events. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just not that kind of series. So me making predictions is not really what this is about. But anyway. Okay, so here's my opening clip. The next time you see me, I should have either the Kindle in my hand or the physical book. We'll see when I have time to do it, because yeah, I will get it tomorrow night, and then Tuesday morning I will have everything packed and ready. I have to pick up some medications, pick up a couple things for my sister, and then we're heading out of town, and I will be gone for like 5 days, which will be great, and there'll be lots of footage of that. So okay, we'll see you later. So excited. Hello. This is a weird angle, but it's 11:15 p.m. and it finally dropped on my Kindle. There's 155 chapters. That is bananas. Wow. It's crazy. There's a map and the family tree in here, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna read the prologue to you guys, and then we'll chat later, because I want to read at least a couple chapters before I fall asleep. Okay, the prologue says, "You know that something is coming. Something, a specific, dire, and awful something, will happen. You envision it, you push it away. It rolls slowly, inexorably back into your mind. You make what preparation you can, or you think you do, though your bones know the truth. There isn't any way to sidestep, accommodate, lessen the impact. It will come, and you will be helpless before it. You know these things. And yet, somehow, you never think it will be today." Wow. I'm like too happy to be like crying or anything right now. I'm kind of just stunned. I think part of it too is that like having the Kindle book, which costs the same as a regular book, because this book is 950 pages. 969 pages, pardon me. It's just amazing. So, we'll see. I can't wait to have the physical book in my hand. But this is good enough to get me a few chapters in before I go to sleep. So, we'll talk later. I know this is horrible lighting because the sun is behind me, so we're dealing with that interesting situation, but I was able to get it early at Target. So here's the physical. This is chunky. Like, this is seriously has like the Bible pages. I mean, I saw in my Kindle that it was 969 pages, so this hardcover is just at 900, which is awesome. So now we're ready to go. So last night, I mean, I don't really have, maybe we go this way. I don't really have a reading update. So what I didn't say last night is that when it didn't drop like right at 11, which I know I was being impatient, I was like, well, I'm going to take my melatonin and go to sleep so I can get up early and get going. And then 10 minutes later, I got the email from Amazon that like, oh, it's dropped. And I was like, fuck. So I wanted to film my reaction to opening it. And then I was able to get through 3 chapters. So I literally read 40 pages before I fell asleep last night. But just in that little bit, I feel like I'm home again. The first couple chapters of Bree and Roger and the kids being back is just, it feels like home. There's a lot of recapping going on, which in Diana's books, I feel like is a good thing, because if you're not binging them, and even if you are binging them, there is thousands of pages of details, and it's hard to know which stuff she wants you to be paying attention to and which things you might be paying attention to, because y'all, we know these are hefty little beasties, and like, it's a thing. They're a lot. So, but already just being back with everybody, like I was like welling up. Like I wasn't sobbing yet or crying or anything. And I, unfortunately, on like, I'm in so many Facebook groups and nobody is direct spoiling anything, but people are posting like speculation and like guess. And I don't want to guess at any of the things that might happen. I want to experience it and hopefully film those things for you. So I was like, nope, I guess I need to stay off Facebook this week, which I wanted to do anyway. So all right, so I'm ready to go. I'm gonna head to my sister's. I got the book. I got an iced chai. Yes, I drink cold drinks even when it's hot out. I got a breakfast sandwich. It's like 8:40, and so my sister already has a couple things she wants us to do once I get there, so I'm gonna get going. I did also, because here's the thing, when I got the Kindle book, the upgrade to the audiobook was one of the upgrades that's only $8, and I was like, that's like a $45 audiobook, which of course you could normally use a credit for, but to get it for $8, I was like, I'm gonna get it. Just because I don't know what I'll be doing this week and it might be nice. So it's tough because there's a lot of things that I want to take notes on already, but I would want to listen to it. The other thing is I don't totally love listening to Davina Porter. I appreciate her and she's wonderful, but particularly doing like sexy stuff, it feels like, you know, she has an elderly voice. She's an elderly woman. And I know that Claire and Jamie are like older, but they're also not who I picture as like my grandparents or anything, you know? Like, I don't know. Even my parents who are in their 50s and my dad's almost 60, like he doesn't talk like he's that old. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, but since it was only $8, I was like, I'll get it. Also, I have this setting on my Audible where you can, to help like download it, you can download it in parts, and this one downloaded into 5 parts that were 10 hours each. So holy fuck with that. But anyway, okay, that's enough gabbing. The next update I give you will hopefully be of actual like a book reaction or something. So here we go. So, I'm in my sister's basement, so don't mind all of the various animals that my brother-in-law has killed over the years, but I just wanted to do a quick update because I made it through part 1. I'm a little ways into part 2. I mean, if you can believe it, I've already read 120 pages, and that's how far in that it is. I mean, the thing is like there's not a ton to comment on, but I just wanted to, you know, obviously I'm doing a vlog about reading it, so I didn't want to read too much before saying anything. So the first part was just a lot of explanation and spending time together, and Jamie and Claire are getting to know what happened while Brianna and Roger were in the future, and when they were in the farther past, you know, because they were in the 1739, I think is when they were there. And Roger actually got to meet Brian Fraser, so there was just this beautiful moment between Jamie and Roger, and also Jenny, where they got to talk about Brian together, and it just warmed my heart. So there's rebuilding on the ridge, because a lot of stuff that happened is that things burned down. One place got struck by lightning and burned down. The other one, it burned down like it was kind of like prophesied that it would do. And so now that we're back on the ridge, we're kind of taking a break from the revolution. They are going to rebuild, and I just love that stuff. So this is like slow moving the way that all the other Outlander books are. That isn't a surprise, but because I love this family so much, it doesn't feel like wasted time. You know, like every one of these interactions are ones that I want to have, and Diana gives them to you, and it's great. So really the only other point of view we've had that is off of the ridge so far is we've had William's point of view. He is trying to find his cousin Ben, who he discovered in a previous book that the man buried in Ben's grave is not Ben. It was a thief who was like missing his ears, and so he's trying to find him. So we've had a couple of his POVs while he's doing that. Otherwise, all the POVs we've had have been on the ridge, and they've been, it's everything that I want. There's something that I felt for quite a while now, and that is particularly I love being in Jamie's POV. Like whenever I'm in Jamie's POV, it gives my heart so much happiness. Like it's so hard to explain. Like these books are so just overindulgent for me. Like when I'm reading them, and I don't even care. They just warm my chest from the inside, you know? And yeah, so that's where we're at, and I'm loving it. Again, like there's not a ton to update on. Like nothing shocking has really happened yet. John Quincy Myers just showed up with some bees. So that was cool. He brought some bees for the ridge, which is awesome. And he's brought some letters with him, and I don't know what those letters say yet. We'll see what's going on with those, but there's just a lot of rebuilding and making sure they're going to be prepared for winter, because they have nothing. Like they don't even have a roof over their head yet. But now we have Roger and Bree to help us with that, and that's amazing. So things are going great. If you can't tell by the smile that's always on my face. Okay, we're in the same place. This is a good place for me to film, but thought I would do a check-in. It's been not like a busy day, but I've been getting stuff done. But I've been reading while I have been doing it. Hold on, my nieces will hear me talking and they'll try to peek. Maybe they didn't this time. But I did some shopping today. I went shopping for books. My dad and I did a little bit of like stuff in town, which was cool. And then I had lunch with him. And now I'm back at the house. And so I'm like 40% of the way through, I'd say. In the hardcover, I am on page 336, which is chapter 44. So yeah, there's been a couple pretty significant events, including the first like major death that happened. It was not a death of the main family. I don't know that there won't be like a death or anything, because I was seeing a couple people speculate about that, but I've really been trying to stay away from that, because it's like, this is something that I don't need spoiled for me, right? But we did lose Amy Higgins in a pretty graphic way. That's definitely something I'll talk about more in depth when I do my like beat breakdown later on, or my more detailed spoiler review. But it was very violent. She literally gets crunched on by a bear, like snacked on by a bear, while Brianna and Amy and their children, they're out picking wild grapes because they're going to make wine. And Brianna is talking with Amy and she turns her back and Amy is like yanked down the side of a hill. And like, it's so horrible. Like, it's so horrible. So that was what I read like right before I went to bed last night. And it was, you know, just the way Diana writes is like, Amy Higgins isn't somebody that I was like attached to, but she was important to their community. And like, it was Bobby Higgins' wife, who Bobby Higgins is an interesting character from, you know, who lives on the ridge. And it was just so sad. Like, oh, it was so heartbreaking, you know? Yeah. So that was really rough. So some of the like bigger things that are happening is there are quite a few families now. I think it's 75 families that are part of Fraser's Ridge. You know, some of them spread out more than others. There are many different religions and, you know, like groups of people we're dealing with. We've rebuilt the meeting house, which they now have, like, it's used as the schoolroom during the week. And then they host Presbyterian and, what's the other one? Methodist and Quaker meetings there. So Sundays are literally like an all-day church event where they have everybody's services, which is kind of cool. Now, like, as I said, there hasn't been a ton of other POVs. Like, we don't have the mass amount of POVs that we have had in the past. Particularly in like the 8th book, there was just so many POVs. But really, since we've been on the ridge for the most part, it's mostly Claire and Brianna and Jamie is really who the POVs we've had the most of. And then Lord John and William. And so right now where I'm at, Brianna has been asked by Lord John. There is like a acquaintance of his who is willing to pay Brianna to do a portrait for him. She had done some portrait making back in like book 4 and 5. That was something she did. To make money for them. And so their plan is to like buy and smuggle some weapons to the revolutionaries. And they're going to use this opportunity to have like a letter of protection written by Lord John's brother, Hal, as their like cover to smuggle this in. So we'll see how that all goes. But Brianna is going to get to meet William when they both know who each other is this time, and I'm very excited to see how that goes, you know. And Brianna hasn't seen Lord John in years, right? It's been probably like 4 years since Bree and Roger went back, maybe, sort of, somewhere around there. So she hasn't seen him in a super long time. So, and we're kind of hoping that Brianna can kind of be the bridge between like Jamie and John, because that's something we've really been seeing in this book too, is that Jamie is still really struggling with what happened between John and Claire, and he just like, he can't forgive what happened. And so there've been quite a few arguments that they've had about it, which is like frustrating, but also it makes sense at the same time. So anyway, that's kind of my update where we're at now. It is the day before Thanksgiving, so I don't know. I mean, I'll have time in the morning, so we'll see how far I get with this tonight. I really do want to finish this between like today and tomorrow probably, because I do have a couple other books I'd like to read during break. But, well, all right. Well, I'm going to stop now before the girls come running down the stairs. But that's my update for today. Wait, we don't have to start the day yet. I just want to stay, even if we run late. This morning, let's take our time. Everybody needs a break, right? Sometimes I wait for just an hour more. What's the rush? Who's calling? Who's calling? I won't ask for much. All I want is sleeping on a Sunday. time for a check-in. And yep, this is me on vacation. I'm very much enjoying not having to put any makeup on, but that's what the vlog clips look like then. My hair has been dry shampooed within an inch of its life, so you know, this is what we got. But I'm in my guest room / my brother-in-law's hunting room, so you know, there's hunting stuff everywhere in here, and then the bed that I'm sleeping on. So, but anyway, I figured I better do another check-in because I'm definitely going to finish today. I'm probably going to finish in the next couple hours, and I was like, I should do a check-in before the end to just kind of share like what I'm thinking and everything. I mean, obviously there's so much going on, and also just so many feelings. I mean, I know that each of these clips I'm just like processing, and I mean, this is just what it feels like when I'm doing a reading vlog of a book that has this much meaning to me, and this much, like, everything about it is in the details, right? Like, there's not in this one a ton of stuff coming. There's not a ton of time passing. This one, it seems to be there'll only be about a year. I mean, less than a year has passed so far in this one. And usually in Diana's books, there's a lot more time that passes in these ones. But there hasn't been. And I don't know if that's because, I mean, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea what's in the woman's mind. I don't know if these books are only going to cover the revolution or like where they're going to go, you know, but we're up to 1780 right now. And I just got through a part of the book where some things were getting a little crazy on the ridge. Some of Jamie's tenants, who are loyalists, were trying to capture him to turn him in, since he is an ex, you know, general for the, well, he resigned his commission. I mean, technically some people still call him General Fraser, and you know, like, there was literally a betrayal on the ridge, and like a bunch of the tenants are being evicted because, I mean, they tried to have Jamie arrested, and what they, you know, he would probably be hanged if he was turned in. And it's just so like deep and big, and just that kind of betrayal is just kind of like mind-blowing a little bit, for all that Jamie does for the people who, like, he literally will give people the skin off his back, you know. And during the time that this is going on, like, we're trying to rebuild the big house, like the whole part of this book, it's like in ruins, you know. And there's definitely some allegories over time that, you know, Diana has made between whatever building that they're living in and then the state of like their community. They're usually like parallel in some way. It's something I've noticed, you know, even going back to the Fiery Cross, you know. We've adopted a lot of people into our family at the same time. You know, again, I'm not going into those kind of details in this reading vlog. Like, that's all stuff that I'm going to have to process. And I will go through the journeys of our characters, kind of like character by character, you know. Ian and his wife and Jenny, they went to go meet Ian's ex-wife, his ex-Indian wife, and to learn some things from her. So Rachel is very nervous the whole time about this meeting, but at the same time, she really trusts Ian, and she wants him to have this closure that he wasn't really able to have before. And then Bree and Roger and the kids, they went to Savannah for Roger. Like, Roger has gotten ordained, and then she was doing different portraits and paintings for the army, as well as commissioned to do other things. So it was just there's all these like little things going on, and I'm just really wanting everyone to get back together. So I'm hoping now that Bree is done with her commissions, that Bree and Roger are going to go back to the Ridge. There's also this weird through line with Frank and Jamie. It's very interesting because one of the cool things that happened this time is because Bree and Roger, you know, Bree planned for them to come back. She brought a lot of things with her. And one of the things she did is she brought a lot of books with her. Oh, it's so cool. She actually brought the Lord of the Rings trilogy to Jamie as a gift. It's so crazy. She brought like a medical book for Claire, and she actually brought one of Frank's books back with her. And Jamie has read this book, and he really feels that Frank is trying to speak with him through this book, either to mess with him or to warn him about things that could get in his way. It's very interesting. And there's a specific event that Frank mentions where a James Fraser of Fraser's Ridge dies at a certain event. And Jamie doesn't know whether Frank knows that he would get this book in his hands somehow. Like if he was able to dig deep enough into history that he knows that Brianna someday will go back to him and bring this book with, so that it ends up in Jamie's hands, which is just a total mindfuck if that's able to happen. Or if, because there's so many James Frasers who exist, if it really is someone else. Now, do we really think it would be someone else? I don't know. But it is very interesting because something that Jamie has done at different times is he will feel his dead around him, you know, Murtaugh or Dougal. And there's one scene now where after spending time in like Frank's head, he starts to feel like Frank around him too. He's described as a specter, whereas like Murtaugh and Dougal, he sees them very viscerally, like he will like see them, but Frank is more of just like this specter, but he will like converse with him sometimes. It's very interesting. Like, I don't know what this all means. Like, that's the thing about this book is, and the way Diana writes, is you never know like where it's going. So it's very interesting. So anyway, I just wanted to give another check-in before I was finished. I will do probably one, I will do one at the end and kind of wrapping up, but I'm so excited to dive even deeper into this and do my, deep dive review that I will do, because this book is fascinating and I'm so sad that I'm like almost finished with it, but it's been good. I am excited to read some other books too, because really this is the only book I've been reading for 3 days now, and like that never happens to me, so it's very interesting. But having a great time with the family too. I put some clips in earlier. We were making some window art that I bought to take to the nieces, so it's gonna be fun. Well, hey, time to wrap up this vlog. I'm back in my apartment in Fargo after an absolutely wonderful trip. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I will have some final thoughts to share in just a minute, but if you watched this with me, thank you so much. This was such a fun experience to get to read Outlander for Outlander number 9 for the first time, like when everyone else is reading it. And this book was such a ride. It was so amazing. Like I said, I just got back. It's Saturday afternoon. I took my time getting here. So I'm about to film my like weekly wrap up. And then I need to do some notes because I did some highlighting in my Kindle, but I mostly like didn't take any notes while I was reading this. So I'm going to take some time here this afternoon to do that. And then I'll probably film my discussion video tomorrow, just because I want to take the time to find my favorite quotes. And as I said, I'm going to do breakdowns for like each character, which is how I've done my previous reviews. But man, it's been over a year since I've done an Outlander book discussion, so I need to get back in the mode of that. But expect it to be a very long and detailed thing. For the most part, there's been a few spoilers in this along the way, I'm sure you saw, but man, there's just so much to discuss and talk about. So yeah, I obviously am just in awe. This book was amazing. I will say at the end of this, nobody did die who was very important. You know, we did lose Amy Higgins along the way, but our main cast of characters were all still holding on. There was a few babies born, which was pretty cool. Surprise twins happened for a character in the book, not any of our main people, and Brianna and Roger had another baby. So I will tell you this, that got spoiled for me, just totally on accident. There was starting to be some little like hints that they might have another baby, right? Like I was getting the feeling that we might get another Mackenzie baby, just because of how like Roger at one point accidentally thinks she's pregnant, and so he's like, no, like of course I want another baby, but your health is more important to me, because Brianna has been having kind of like mild panic attacks that involve her heart. And her and Claire think it may have something to do with how many times they've gone through the stones. And, you know, but Claire assures her that, like, for your age and what's happening, like, they're really more like panic attacks. You're going to be okay. But, of course, anytime anyone has a baby in the time that they are, it's very dangerous, you know. But we have a new little one whose name is Davy, and then named after all of his family members as usual. So yeah, that was amazing. It made me so happy. So where this ended off is kind of a cliffhanger, but also, you know, I don't know, like some people will probably say it's a cliffhanger, but I more so look at it as ramping up to the last book. Because as far as I've heard still, book 10 will be the last book in like the main series. That's what I've seen. I know other people are speculating, and Diana said, you know, she never would close the door on them. But I also know that there are certain mysteries throughout the series that we want answers to, and, you know, I believe that she will give those to us in book 10. So this book, you know, it ends with Lord John is in danger, and we have these time travelers who are trying to stop the American Revolution from ever happening, to keep Britain in a more powerful position, and they plan to use Lord John as leverage over Hal, because Hal is going to give a speech. Something smells horrible. Hal is going to give a speech to the Parliament that kind of is part of many stones. It's not just one guy who does this, but part of many stones that lead England to like give up on the American Revolution. And these people don't want that to happen. They want America to stay under the rule of the Queen, basically, or I mean the King. Queen and country is what I'm used to saying because there's a queen right now. But so that leaves Lord John in danger, and he's been held captive for a good part of the end of the book. I was kind of sad we didn't get to see as much of Lord John in this book. Like, really, we didn't get too many perspectives besides, like, we had William and John, but otherwise all the other perspectives were people from the Ridge, and there weren't that many chapters from John. Like, William had a good amount of chapters, but Lord John didn't. And I'm really sad that, you know, a lot of the stuff there was him and Percy. And Percy, like, loves John, but he's kind of a coward. And he's caused, you know, a lot of harm by being a coward. He's caused a lot of problems, you know. So, anyway, that leads William to make his way to the Ridge, which would have taken a long time. Like, we see how long it takes the different people when they travel from places to the Ridge, how long it takes, you know. So he shows up at the Ridge and asks for help is kind of the last thing that happens. So it's kind of amazing. But anyway, there's not too much more I want to put into the vlog. I'm going to save the rest of it for our discussion video. Like I said, I'll have my whiskey and I'll have my thoughts and we'll record this, but I'm going to go ahead and record my weekly reading wrap up, which will be a pretty short video because I, you know, all of my attention was mostly devoted to this beast right here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this vlog. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I'll have more Outlander content coming. We now have a release date for season 6 of the show. It's going to start, I believe, on March 6th. So I will be doing what I did last year. I'll be doing weekly breakdowns of that and comparing it with the book, because that's what I do. I review the book and the TV show together. Plenty of places review just the TV show. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel for that. That is something that I had so much fun and anxiety, but I mostly had fun doing that when season 5 came out. So yeah, there we go with that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.